Welcome back to lesson 4. We are going to be talking about planning your proof project and getting everything prepared. Now, because your cast and your crew will be implemented early and you're writing your movie around things you already have access to, your pre-production phase is going to blend into your writing phase. I want you to focus on things that you have access to. So if you reach out to them early, you can make sure you've got your locations checked off. You can make sure you've got your actors and your camera people and your crew and all of that. Once you feel pretty confident about the first draft of your script, the first thing that I would do, schedule your first shoot day. Why? This is a ready, fire, aim approach to making a film. The normal thing would be, I'm going to write a film, I'm going to do 1,000 drafts of that film, I'm going to fundraise, I'm going to use some of the money from that fundraising to cast my crew, my actors, and then I'm going to plan everything. And you can see where every one of these makes the process a lot longer, and this can take years. But the point is to get this project finished. So if you can make small commitments to your cast and crew and your locations along the way, it keeps you honest and it keeps you moving toward attainable goals. When you can know that you're going to step on set in 2 months' time, you have a deadline to start moving toward, and you have a better, clearer understanding of what needs to happen between right now and that deadline. In this time between having the first version of your script done and your pre-production, start having chemistry sessions with your actors. What do chemistry sessions look like? Great question. Get your cast together and start interviewing them in character, not just about what happens along the course of the story, but what their lives were like before they ever ended up in this circumstance of conflict that happens within the 90 minutes of your story. This will give your actors a lot better sense of what they're doing. It's going to make them feel a lot more comfortable. I would avoid hard rehearsals of the script, especially if you're scripting your dialogue, because what tends to happen is people get married to the way it comes out of their mouth, and you get very robotic, very entrenched performances where people are unlikely to make different choices. And then our characters start to feel like they are not listening to each other, and it just makes for a bad experience for the audience. So focus on things that have happened before the timeline of the movie. Next, focus on setting realistic goals. If you haven't finished your script, don't start shooting it next week. Make sure you set a realistic amount of time to get things organized. Start to delegate tasks to your different department heads. If you've got the first version of your script done, walk through the locations with whoever's going to be shooting your film so they can start to map out visually how best to utilize those spaces. This will save you time when you get to set and your cinematographer is not going like, well, I didn't know there was a window there, or this room doesn't match what was in my head at all. So everybody knows what they're doing once they get to set. For you as the writer and producer, start to break down your scenes. I like to color code. I like to see the emotional states of my actors. These are all things when you're in the crazy mess, the chaos of being on set and trying to remember 1,000 things. These act as nice little life rings when you feel like you're drowning in the chaos of your film. For your proof project, I wouldn't get too bogged down in the idea of storyboarding. If you don't know what storyboarding is, it's generally an artist comes and draws basically a comic book of your movie. This will inform the shots, the shot types, the camera movements, and the visual style of your film. I've found that for proof projects, for these projects that need to happen quickly and need to be loose, it offers too much structure, too much rigidity. You start focusing on camera moves that don't enhance your story. They just distract your actors because they're trying to hit a line on a certain camera move, and certain things like these don't pay off. If you plan on being a highly visually stylized, if that's your unique mechanism, disregard this. If you're a Robert Rodriguez or a Michael Bay or a David Fincher and that's just part of your brand, take it and run with it. For anybody else, I would throw the idea of storyboarding out. Steven Spielberg figures out what he's going to do the day he gets to set. I would try and have 2 cameras. This just ensures that you've always got something to cut to, that you can see multiple angles of the geography of the room so your audience doesn't get bored. If you're focusing on any sort of choreography, give yourself double the time that you think you need to pull it off. if you've got a jib or a dolly or a drone or a fight scene, schedule it outside of the rest of your shoot so you know that you've got ample time to pull it off. Things are going to go wrong. They always do. I want to stress the importance of being flexible, remaining flexible throughout the course of your shoot. Good art comes from adapting to crazy situations. There are going to be things that you cannot plan for. When you've got a multi-million-dollar budget, you've got police to shut down streets, you've got money to pay extras and all of that. But in this type of film, you're likely going to be shooting some of it guerrilla style. You're likely going to be shooting in places you don't necessarily have permits to be or the ability to lock down. But lean into those things and don't try and control the rain. As soon as you start trying to control the weather, your whole film is going to fall apart, and it's best to just adapt to what you have than to catastrophize over the things that are going wrong. Again, morale is paramount. Keep everybody in a good mood. Roll with the punches. Your film will be better for it. As you get closer to your shoot date, make sure you've got everything gathered in one place. This is hard drives, cameras, gear, wardrobe, your craft services, your food, anything that you're going to need. You want to make sure you've got quick access to it. The last thing that you want to be doing is running around on day 3 trying to figure out what that dress is that you need for the next shot. Make sure everything is organized, put it in Tupperware bins, have it in somebody's car, and have it nearby. It's just going to make your process faster. If in the process of planning your film, you run into things that you think might be really tricky to pull off, the timing is really exact, a train is going by in the background, or the moon needs to be full, or things that you just have a harder time controlling, make sure you always have a plan B in mind, that if things don't go exactly to plan, it doesn't ruin your entire film, and you've got a better alternative in the case that it doesn't go how you hope. I'll see you in lesson 5.